Hi, and welcome back to the second in this series of virtual online coaching. My name is Bruce Music, and I'm coming to you from my apartment in the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. And today, what I want to teach you is a tool I've never taught publicly before. So you're the first person to ever get to see this tool. And what this tool is going to do, it's going to help you find out which level of development you're at in your personal growth, what stage you're at, and what to do next to jumpstart your growth to the exact next level you want to get to. Now, I don't know if you've ever noticed this problem, that no matter how many personal development tools you try, you just don't seem to be able to change, right? Most people really battle to change, and most of the tools that are out there, the crazy tools with crazy names like neurolinguistic programming or cognitive behavioral therapy or hypnosis or psychology or personal development seminars, all these tools work, but they work for a particular stage of development. And if you're not on that stage of development, chances are the tool's not going to work for you, and you're going to be left wondering why it doesn't work, feeling like you're a failure and going, what's wrong with me? So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly which of the 5 levels of development you're at and what appropriate action to take for that particular level to jumpstart your growth to the next level so you can move forward as fast as possible. So stick around, come with me, we're going to go inside and I'm going to explain the 5 levels to you. You're really going to dig this. I'll see you inside. So what are the 5 stages, I hear you asking? Well, I'm going to go through each one by one. I think you'll find them fascinating. You may want to pause this video right now, grab a pen and paper and take some notes so you can find out exactly which stage you're at. Okay, so the first stage you could be in your life right now is a stage I'm going to call survival emergency. And this stage is characterized by your basic financial and emotional needs not being met. So when you're in survival emergency, chances are you're not making enough money to pay the bills, or you're just barely getting by every month. You're probably, if this is in the area of relationships, your relationship's not working, it's falling apart, you're unhappy and you're miserable and you're just stuck trying to get by. There are so many people stuck in survival emergency, it's actually just not funny. Most people I meet or coach are stuck in survival emergency mode. And the kind of feeling that goes along with survival emergency is this feeling of being trapped by your circumstances, whether it's trapped by money or trapped in a relationship, and this feeling of desperation and despair. So if you can relate to any of those, you're probably in the survival mode. There's a lot more to survival emergency and to all of these levels. I'm just going to cover them briefly, and I'll go into them later at another time in more detail. And at survival emergency, there is particular work that you actually need to do to move on to the next level. And the work is this. The first thing you need to do is to take responsibility for you having gotten yourself here. You did this. To stop blaming outside influences. You cannot move to stage 2 or anywhere in life or get anything you want if you're blaming the outside world. That's your number one thing to do right now. The second thing to do is to establish financial and emotional stability. You need to plug the holes. If you imagine a bucket, and this is a bucket full of money and it's your financial situation, if you're in a survival emergency, your bucket has holes in it and you're leaking money out. That's why at the end of the month you can't pay the bills, or you're just getting by or never getting ahead. It's because you've got holes that you need to plug. Now what most people do if they're at survival emergency level, they discover personal development and they go, oh, what I need to do is create big goals for my life and plow myself forward. And of course they create these big goals, and because they're in survival, the one thing they want more than anything is to be rich and wealthy. So they go, I'm going to be a billionaire. And because they're feeling such desperation, they go, and I'm going to be a billionaire in 6 months. And they create these big goals of stupid things like being a billionaire in 6 months. Like, I don't know any billionaire who got there in less than 5 years, with multiple failures beforehand. And of course, when they don't get there, they get despondent and go, oh, this stuff doesn't work. Why am I struggling? What's wrong with me? Of course, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just at stage 1, and you're trying to do a stage 3 or stage 4 activity at stage 1, and it's inappropriate. It's a dumb thing to do. So at stage 1, the 2 things are to take responsibility for having gotten yourself here and start creating a new life. Like, you own it. Stop blaming the outside world. And number 2, create emotional and financial stability. So this might be getting a job, or it might be getting out of your relationship that's really toxic right now and taking some time out on your own so you can be emotionally stable again. You cannot move forward in life if your foundation is not met, if you're not meeting your needs. This is level 1 on Adrian Maslow's hierarchy of needs, survival, right? So the tools here are not to go about visualizing a better life. The tools necessarily are not to go out and doing NLP and changing your limiting belief systems and any of that stuff that's out there in the personal development world right now. The tools are just plug the holes, get your life together, and get yourself stable. Make sense, right? And if we were to use a metaphor of swimming, at this point, if you're at survival emergency, you're drowning. To use a swimming metaphor, you would be drowning right now. And the thing is to grab hold of something so you can just float and you're not keeping on sinking below the water. Okay? So that's stage one. So once you've got your basic financial and emotional needs met, you move up and graduate to stage two. And stage two is what I'm going to call stabilization. Okay? At stage two, your basic financial and emotional needs are met and you start to feel the sense of relief. I'm no longer desperate and trying to survive. I can actually just kind of like sit back and relax and take a breath for a while. And your focus starts to move more internally. And this is where we start to do some of the internal work, some of the removing limiting belief systems. That would be appropriate at this point. This is where we start to go within a bit more. And the other emotion that kind of characterizes stage two stabilization, other than relief, is also anxiety. Because at this point you're also going, well, okay, I don't want to go back to stage one, and I'm not sure what's going to happen in the future out there in stage three and in my future. I'm not kind of sure where everything is right now. I've just found my feet, so there might be a bit of anxiety at this level. And the work here to graduate to stage three is to begin to get some internal awareness and heal your emotional self, to start doing internal work, healing your past, getting past limiting belief systems, getting complete with your parents, getting over any anger issues you may have or things that happened to you as a child in your past that you're still carrying around as baggage on your shoulder. That's good stage two work. That's the kind of work you need to do in stage two. The next thing to do in stage two is also to create an environment in your life where you can grow. Right? So this might be creating an environment of surrounding yourself with good people. Like if you read my 5 chimps report, it was all about how to surround yourself with great chimps, right? Surrounding yourself with really good people. Or it might be creating an environment in your home, in your living environment that supports you growing, where you wake up in the morning, you feel relaxed. Or it might be creating an environment at work where you can feel comfortable expressing yourself. This is about putting yourself in an environment where you're free and you feel safe to grow. And if we're going to use the swimming metaphor again, at this stage, at stage two, you're treading water. You've learned how to tread water. You're no longer drowning. You don't know how to swim yet, but you're treading water in the water. Your head's staying above water, and that's a good thing. Right, so once you've reached stabilization, you move on to stage three. And stage three is what I call movement and momentum. And stage three is characterized by this desire to go out there and achieve. Right? So you're going out in the world and you're achieving goals and you're taking focused action. You're going out there and saying, I'm going to do X, and you make X happen, right? And very often the kind of feeling that's associated at stage three is desire and pride. You want to get stuff, right? You want to get material things, like maybe you want a new car or you want a new house, and you're feeling proud of what you've accomplished, and rightly so. That's not a bad thing to feel proud. So you should, right? At stage three, that's an appropriate emotion. You're going out there into the world and you're making things happen, and you've kind of gotten out of emergency survival and you're no longer treading water. You can now actually learn some new strokes, to use the swimming metaphor, right? So in the swimming metaphor, now you're actually learning how to do breaststroke, and you're learning how to do freestyle and butterfly, and you're learning. A lot of learning happens at stage three. And the work to do here is to set short-term goals, right? You want to set short-term goals that you can achieve, not long-term goals. And the reason you don't want to set long-term goals yet is that you don't really know who you are as a human being. And I can hear you saying, what do you mean I don't know who I am? I know my name. Or my name's Bruce. Like, who am I? What I'm saying is you haven't yet discovered your authentic self yet at stage three, right? Your real purpose in life. So it's pointless setting long-term goals because they're all going to change anyways. So just set yourself some short-term, 6-month goals, year-long goals tops, where you're going to go out and get stuff and do stuff for yourself and make things happen. Get your life sorted out. Like one of these for me was moving to an island in the Caribbean. It was something I always wanted to do. And when I accomplished it, it was like such a fantastic feeling of pride. Now I'm living my dream life. It's finally happened, right? If you can relate to stage three, remember the work to do is to set short-term goals and accomplish them, and learn new skills that will help you move further along in accomplishing your goals. So once you've mastered goal achieving and you've gotten top of stage three, you move on to stage four. And stage four is a stage I call discovery and freedom. And at stage four, it's characterized by very often having a huge emotional breakdown in life and moving through that. You finally reach a point where your life stops working. This might be a midlife crisis for you. You reach total rock bottom. And I'm almost certain that it's impossible to get to stage 4 without having contemplated suicide at some point, having reached total rock bottom and moved through it. And I'm not talking about stage 1, you're in desperation and survival and life's not working, you go, oh, I want to contemplate suicide and kill myself because my life sucks, right? No, this is like a fundamental breakdown in who you are, asking what's the point of life, why am I here, why should I even bother carrying on? That is what precedes very often, and in fact every time I've met people at stage 4, and certainly happened that for me, my story was I got divorced and had to start telling the truth about my life and what was really going on in my life and recreating my life again. And I discovered myself in the process and found total freedom and authenticity to express myself in a way I'd never expressed myself before. So the indicators that you're at stage 4 is that you recreate yourself out of a huge breakdown, and you find your authentic expression. You find out who you authentically are and how you want to express yourself in the world. This is the stage where you discover your purpose in life, your mission, the thing you want to contribute for the rest of your life, right? That's why I said setting long-term goals in stage 3 is inappropriate, because until you have this, you can't set long-term goals. So in stage 4, you can start to look at some longer-term goals, things you want to contribute to the world for the rest of your life, very possibly, right? It's characterized by a feeling of trusting in life, trusting that everything will always turn out okay and not worrying. Fear disappears at stage 4 because you're no longer really worried about life anymore. You know it's all going to turn out. You're on your path. You're moving forward at high speed. Everything's good. And passion, because you found out what it is that you want to contribute to the world and you're passionate about it, and you go out and contribute to the world. And it may not necessarily be contributing to the world like saving the world. It might just be, the gift that you have to give, and you're out there doing what you love every day, right? This is typical stage 4 stuff. The work to do here is to discover your authentic purpose in life, or your authentic passion, and to set long-term goals and go about setting the foundation and achieving those long-term goals towards making your authentic passion or authentic purpose reality. And if we're going to use our swimming metaphor at this stage, the swimming metaphor here is you're in practice, right? You're in training. You might be training for a competition. So you're swimming every day. You're doing, 1,000 laps a day, 5 days a week. You're in training. Now, once you've moved past stage 4, you graduate into what I call stage 5. And stage 5 is mastery. And there's very few people, or a very small percentage of the population, that are really firmly rooted at stage 5. So when you've reached stage 5, you are contributing on a massive scale. You're making a huge difference to the world, to the environment, or to your community. You know exactly who you are, and you have a powerful sense of self that you can share in the world with authority. When you speak, people listen. You have a huge ability to influence people. And at this stage, money is no longer a concern. It's like, at stage 4 already, you are probably financially free, but at stage 5, money is no longer a concern. In fact, you may not even have any money. Even if you don't have any money at this point, money is no longer a concern. Because you're so influential at this point, if you needed $1 million, you could just phone somebody up for your project, ask them for it, and they would deposit it into your bank account straight away that day, right? Somebody at stage 5 might be somebody like Nelson Mandela, my personal hero, the man who was the president of my country that I'm from, South Africa, and who saved our country. Nelson Mandela, he didn't ever accumulate large amounts of wealth, but you think he could get $1 billion if he needed it? Absolutely, no problem. He could just call somebody up and get it for whatever he's doing, because he's at mastery and the level of influence he has. And the feeling associated, or the emotion associated with people at stage 5, is this feeling of authentic gratitude for their lives and this total sense of surrender. They've surrendered their life to a bigger purpose, and they're out there following their bigger purpose. They're experts at what they do, and they don't have to try anymore. Things just happen. The snowball's rolling down the hill, gathering snow, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're not resisting, and they're moving forward at high speed. Awesome place to be, and amazing to be around these people. So the work at level 5, at mastery, is to define, refine, and expand your authentic purpose. To define, refine, and expand your authentic purpose so you can move forward. And in fact, not so long ago, I ended up spending an evening and the next day actually kite surfing with Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Airlines and the Virgin Group. And what really struck me about him is that he's so clear on what his purpose is in life. He's refined it down and he keeps on expanding it. All he could talk about now was his charity and making a difference and launching his space station, which he's going to be launching in 2011 if all goes according to plan. So he's got some really big goals. The guy's a total expert. He's surrendered to life and he's moving forward. His snowball's gathered so much speed that he can't even help being successful. It's just who he is. So there you have it, the 5 stages of growth that I've discovered through working with my clients and observing myself and the people around me. And again, I really have to take my cap off to the great people whose shoulders I'm standing on, the developmental psychologists like Dr. Claire Graves and Adrian Maslow, and also to my good friend Todd Settlemyre, who inspired me to really go deep into this. Now, the important thing to know is these stages are sequential. You can't jump stages. You might go up and down, but you go through them linearly up and down when you're going through them. And one stage is not better than another. Stage 1 isn't worse than stage 5, and stage 5 isn't better than stage 3. They're just stages that we all go through. And we might go through them in different areas. We might be on a different stage financially than we are emotionally, than we are intellectually. So you might be in different places depending on the area of your life that you're looking at. But what's very useful about this is that once you know what stage you're at, you know what to do next. And the last thing to remember here is that you're probably going to place yourself 1 or 2 stages above where you're really at. Because you're probably not going to want to tell the truth to yourself about the fact that you're at stage 1 if you're at stage 1. But if you're watching this video, chances are you're at stage 1 or 2, most likely, maybe stage 3, and maybe stage 4. But most of the people in the world, the highest percentage of the population are at stage 1 and stage 2, right? The problem is most personal development tools don't come with a stage recommendation. I remember when I was a kid, my parents used to take me to the toy store to go and buy Lego. And Lego had like an age recommendation. So you could buy a Lego kind of toy for kids aged 6 to 9 or kids aged 12 to 15, whatever the case may be. So my parents knew that if I was 6 years old, they would buy the toys for kids aged 6 years old. However, personal development tools don't come with a recommendation for use this if you're at stage 2 or use this if you're at stage 1. So what happens is people are using the wrong tools for the wrong stage. So if you're at stage 1, it's pointless trying to remove your limiting belief systems and reprogram your mind for wealth. It ain't going to work. You need to plug the holes and get into action, get a job, get some money, get your finances sorted out, get your emotions sorted out. If you're at stage 2, it's pointless setting short-term goals. You need to start looking inside and reprogramming your brain and doing all the internal tinkering. If you're at stage 3, it's pointless setting long-term goals because you don't know who you are yet, and you need to just focus on setting short-term goals and learning, right? So this will help you figure out what's next for you. So the solution's simple. 1, know what stage you're at. 2, surround yourself with people, with other chimps. Read my 5 chimps report, but surround yourself with chimps that are at a higher stage than you that'll help pull you forward, right? 3, get a coach who gets developmental psychology and who can move you through the stages. Unfortunately, most coaches have never even heard of developmental psychology. So here's what to do when choosing your coach. Ask them one of these 2 questions. Ask them, hey, do you know anything about developmental psychology? And if they look at you with a kind of blank stare, don't hire them. Or ask them, hey, do you know who Dr. Claire Graves is? If they don't know who Dr. Claire Graves is, they don't know anything about developmental psychology, and chances are they're not going to be able to give you the right advice to move you through stage by stage by stage. So to wrap this all up, there's 5 stages of growth we all go through, and we can't skip through them, we go through them sequentially. 2, knowing which stage you're at will help you know what you need to do next, the appropriate action to take right now, wherever you are in your life at this very moment. And 3, get yourself a coach who can coach you through the different stages, who gets developmental psychology. So at this point, you may be thinking, wow, this is amazing information, and I hope you are. And Bruce, I love what you're telling me, and I want you to coach me because you seem to know a bit about this. Well, if that's the case, stick around because in the next video, I'll be showing you exactly how you can hire me on virtualonlinecoaching.com to coach you without actually breaking the bank. So there you have it. I hope you got as much value as I did out of learning and understanding about the 5 stages of growth. And I hope it's given you some insights you wouldn't have got otherwise. So wrapping up, here's what to do next. If you haven't yet watched video 1, go click on the link up above and go watch video 1. And after you've done that, read all the comments down below, because there's an incredible amount of coaching that I provided for people who left comments down below. I actually spent about 8 hours responding to all the comments down below on video 1. And once you've done that, go and click on the special secret report up above and go and download the 5 Chimps report. This report is some of the best work I've ever done. It's got some rave reviews. I think you'll get so much value out of it. It's going to show you how to surround yourself with 5 chimps and eat lots of bananas all day long, which I know of course you want to do being a chimp, right? And finally, please do leave me a comment down below. And what I'd really appreciate is if you did. What I'd like to know from you is, why haven't you used a coach yet? What stopped you from using a coach in the past? Why haven't you thought of using a coach before? And what might be standing in the way from you using a coach in the future? And if you are using a coach right now, what is it about your coaching experience that isn't working for you? I'm curious, I want to do some customer research, and I'd really appreciate it if you left me some comments down below. So this is Bruce Music in the Dominican Republic. I'm about to go kite surfing. As you can see, the wind is howling out there, and I can't wait to get my shorts on, get on the water, and do some kiting. I will see you soon next week when we're going to be launching virtual online coaching. So stick around, keep an eye on your inbox, and have an absolutely awesome rest of your week. I will talk to you soon. Bye.